And welcome to Life Less Ordinary. It is our day off and Dean and I have already gone for a drive and had a little bit of quality time just chatting as we've been driving around the Highlands, which is always a lovely thing. But what I'm planning to do with this video is give you a bit of an insight into some of the other things that we tend to do on our day off. So number one, I have in the oven 2 lots of dough that I've got going because I'm making a whole heap of hot cross buns for tomorrow, which is Good Friday. And I've also got another bowl that has dough in it for dinner tonight, which will be pizzas. So that I've got going since we've gotten back from our drive. Being our day off, the kids get to relax a little bit more. Hopefully at some point they get to doing the kitchen. They're just relaxing at the moment, watching some TV, but Dean and I are going to be outside doing a bit of work for at least the morning so that we can relax this afternoon, it being our day off. So let me show you what we're up to outside. So I'm just heading out the front and I've managed to time it so that Dean's done all of the work without me. But you can probably see that there's a bit of a mess here. There is actually a very long tree limb from up there that dropped a couple of days ago. So Dean's been out here with the chainsaw, chopping that up, and we'll finish tidying it up and take it out the back and put it on the pile. So that's one of the things that we have and are still doing. So we've managed to get that area somewhat cleared, at least all of the wood down there, started weeding a little bit, and I went to go and find the broom, which was over there, and got sidetracked sweeping and also pulling out some of the bigger weeds that were along the edges here. This is one of the difficulties, is you start something and think, okay, this would be a good idea, I'll just go and get the tool for that, and then get sidetracked doing something else. So I've managed to sweep this area. This ends up being a bit of a wind tunnel in this area here. So we end up with lots of leaves that end at the front door. So we have very easily made mulch by getting the weeds from there, putting them there, and putting them on the garden here. And then coming over here, we then realised actually it's now time to get the figs off of there. So we've got 3 big fig trees there. So we're going to, I've just managed to find some big containers to start collecting figs off. So that's the next job. The broom has made it to there, as I was sidetracked by tidying a little bit of this up. Got to there, but anyway, we'll get back to that. It's, you know, it's a bit like my brain, all over the place. Anyway, let's keep going with the figs. So this is something that we've worked hard to protect the birds from, because in years gone by the harvest has essentially gone the week before everything was ripe. So this has worked, 10 metre by 10 metre net, all the way underneath, and held down by the blocks of wood that we have available to us, and that has worked. So we're going to try and get some of the, well, probably get underneath and start grabbing figs off. Look at all those figs. It's actually quite pleasant under here. And all the leaves have started, well, some of the leaves have started dropping, so we've got some good mulch going on here. This had wood chip in it to try and suppress some of the I'm trying to think what these ones are called. They've got yellow flowers. No, the name is not coming to me right now. It will in the middle of the night, no doubt. We've got this much from the front part. Now heading into the side, then we'll come around the back and try and get in. We really don't want to take the net all the way off because otherwise the birds would descend and we'll lose them all. Anyway, here goes. That one's a nice one.
Huh?
So this one's a nice one. Oh, another good one in here. Although no, that's got a split. We're giving those ones to the chickens. And that one's good. So we're just getting the last of it and then putting the net back because I think we've probably still got at least a month's worth of figs, harvesting figs to go. So far I've taken 3 lots of those down to the chickens. So ones that are already split, there's insects get into them, so we really don't want to be cooking with those. I've got this amount of ripe, slightly blemished but ripe, or overly ripe that we can cook with. These ones are very soft, ready to eat. So all in all, this is our second lot of harvesting that we've done. So we've done really well. Really pleased with that. So figs are inside. I will deal with them a little bit later. But what I do need to do now is I need to strain out this chicken bone broth. So last night we had roast chicken for dinner. And I've got 3 carcasses in here with water and a little bit of vinegar and a lot of salt. They pressure cooked last night, slow cooked a little bit longer overnight. I've just let it cool down enough now that I can handle this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to strain the carcass. It'll just be the bone broth in here, which I will then put into the fridge so that it can solidify. It ends up becoming quite a bit of jelly, and then once it's we have a really big fly problem at the moment. Once it solidifies in the fridge, what ends up is we have the beef fat, the chicken fat on the top, which I skim off because it's become solid. And then I can sort of liquefy the bone broth again and separate it into either ice cubes, or I've got big super cubes that are 1 cup in measurement, so I can then freeze the bone broth for use later, either for drinking or in food. So we're just going to carefully strain this out. So I'm going to say this is bone broth because this is the first lot that I've done with this. What I then do, now that it's drained out as much as I can get, I will put it all back in here, fill it over with water, add salt, a few herbs, and then I will pressure cook it again and make chicken stock from it. So I do it a second time, have not had any issues with it. So the chicken stock is just thinner and used more, I guess, for soups, bone broth more to add nutrients to things. So that's the difference. The bone broth has that gelatin, the gelatinous collagen type thing to it. So that goes back in there. I will then fill that back over and stick it back on to cook for the next however many hours. So that's that job done, and I think we've got more things outside. I think Dean's hedging, so we'll need to go out and collect up all of the hedging mess from that. So I've ended up getting stuck, well, not stuck, but being in here for the last half hour because I've got the 2 sourdough hot cross buns doing their first bulk rise, and also the dough, which is essentially my country loaf, sourdough country loaf, which I'll also use half of that for pizza dough for this evening. Also trying to get lunch ready for Dean and I, because he has something on around 1 o'clock, whatever. So I needed to get all this together. So this is the Turkish bread that I made 2 days ago that I've had in the freezer so that it's fresh. Got it out, realised that I needed to, this is a steak sandwich. We had some steak left over from 2 nights ago, so it's been in the fridge, and I used our tomato for that. And I needed to go down and get some rocket and some basil leaves to put on that. So what I'm going to do is, with the Swiss cheese, put it in the toaster oven and then quickly go out, have a look at what they're doing, and by the time I do that, this should be cooked and we will be ready for lunch. So we'll get that on. That's probably about as much as I'm going to get from that. Nothing's around it. Let's head out and have a look at how they're going outside. You almost done? So, not too bad. So he's managed to do up here, and heading down that way. That looks fairly straight. Let's see, I'm just not sure whether he's done on the outside or not. Oh yes, he's done out here as well. Done there. I don't know that he's, oh no, he has done there, but it is what it is. Trying to create privacy for us. So it is quite tall. So it's just heading up to do along the side a little bit more. How are you going, Trin? Did you get it in? Oh, almost. Try, oh. Take a few breaths. Ready? Yay! Good job. So we have finished all of our outdoor work. It's just after lunchtime. I still have some sourdough things to do with stretching and folding for the next couple of hours, so it'll all be ready in time for what we need it either this evening or for the hot cross buns for tomorrow. But now is the time, being our day off, to sit down and relax. So thank you for joining us on this, our day off, as we live our life less ordinary.